Hello everybody and welcome to episode 5 of the Sonic Boomcast, the aftermath of the boom. This is the episode where we finally have everything out. Everything's out, the comic book's out, the cartoon's out, the video games are out, and we'll be talking about them in all full depth. I am your host, Jason Berry, aka Knuckles Jr. With me tonight is Lidice, aka Knucklina.
Hello.
And also is Christian Gausin, aka Knuckle Duster.
What's up, people?
Alright, and I guess we'll just go into the TV show itself. I've really been enjoying it. The first, especially like episodes 2 and 3, the pilot episode was pretty good as well. Not too big on episode 4, Buster, but I think we should just go into them one at a time. The first one being the pilot episode Sidekick, pardon me. This episode was pretty good for a pilot episode. It was some humor that was like toned down mostly for the kids, but there's a few good jokes in there. Like I love Knuckles not realizing what the sidekick thing is for and thinking he's getting a sidekick, trying to get Sonic as
Knuckles Jr.
sidekick, yeah, Knuckles Jr.
Honestly, I like the post that Sonic the Hedgehog up on Facebook that they did. They actually put up the resume requirements to be part of Knuckles' sidekick.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's pretty good. And we've seen a lot of this episode before it ever aired because they've shown like the opening scene with Eggman and Sonic chasing each other. We've seen like the E3 trailer that showed also pieces of scenes from this episode, so that one's been ready to go for quite a while. I do like how they show off the relationship between Sonic and Tails, that they've grown up together for a long time and they're best buds. They're kind of like brothers. That's why he's being real protective of him in this one.
That actually brings up a good point because in this branched out universe, this is the first time where we, the public, and we, the fans, see some actual emotion between Sonic and Tails. You don't really have to see that in the other shows in other universes.
Yeah, the one thing I was brought up in my review on TSS is that, 3 seasons in, Tails, in Sonic X, Tails is forced to murder his plant girlfriend by shooting a giant laser at him. He goes to he's crying like mad, goes over to Sonic, and Sonic won't hug him at all. Here he gets injured once, and Sonic's being all protective and gives him a big hug before he goes out the door.
Bro hug.
Yeah. So it does make a pretty big difference. I also like had a fair amount of action compared to the other episodes. We had the big opening fight, and then the fight at the end, which I thought was pretty well done. You feel like the tension when the plane's sinking and then Sonic's rescuing him and then Sonic's sinking and they gotta rescue each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Of course, Eggman, he stole the show in that one.
And then we had the first introduction right off the bat, the little cowardly beaver.
Oh yeah,
Stick.
Fastidious, which is also done by Mike Pollock. Everything is actually. I kind of liked him. He's in the game as well. You eventually meet up with him. You have to do a water race for him. He's actually a bit of a bigger jerk in the game than he is.
Don't spoil it to me. I haven't reached there yet.
Okay. Yeah, but a weird thing is he doesn't say actually during that. I think they developed the characters over time. Like for some reason in Rise of Lyric, like Styx kind of sounds like a cave woman or Tarzan type character. And in Shattered Crystal, like right at the end, she has a little bit of a Brooklyn accent. Like she sounds a little like Harley Quinn in her voice when she has an accent. It's odd.
Well,
Yeah.
Let's think about it. The whole voice acting thing did get placed in New York.
Yeah.
True.
I think Nick Futterman is from New York, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, yeah, I like to see more of his character. It wasn't hilarious, but I think he's going to be a fun character. Now we go on to episode 2. Can an evil genius crash on your couch for a few weeks?
Oh my gosh!
I love that episode. I'm not gonna
Oh dear!
This is my favorite Sonic cartoon of all time. I loved it.
Me too. I just can't get it off my head from Eggman PJ. My gosh.
Oh, you found me in my evil pajamas. They have a trap door in the back.
That was the selling point. I love that.
Mike Pollock says this is his best work yet. I mean, he's even scrubbing all the dishes with my smudget soap. You never hear Eggman singing before, so...
that's a real treat.
Yeah, plus the rest of the cast had their moments, too. Not really Knuckles. Knuckles has been in the background so far for these episodes. But I thought Amy was hilarious when she's trying to play like a group therapist. Trying to get them together.
Yes. I love it.
I just love it when she's trying to get like an emotional bonding with Eggman. It's like Eggman's like,
"Get her away from me!" Are you scared without a home? Do you feel alone? Are you eating your feelings?
Can someone get her away from me? I just love it when Tails just serves up Eggman the breakfast and then he starts complaining.
Yeah, this salmon is farm raised. What is this, prison?
Like, I'm trying to watch my cholesterol.
What was the other joke in there for the... Yeah, and actually Styx had a real funny line in that one, too. Because she kept telling him exactly what was going to happen, that he's going to tire him out and he's going to come out with this big obliterator bot that obliterates you. And sure enough, that's what the robot is called, is the obliterator bot. I'll never defeat me because Styx is an obliterate. You can't kill me. That's a line that's been used like in a lot of Looney Tunes and that, but I thought it was well done here.
Yeah, that was a good recycled joke.
Right.
Right.
And one thing I've noticed in this series is that Tails' house seems to be like the centerpiece where they tend to go to talk and stuff. It's like a situation comedy where they have one person's room that they constantly use.
You know what that reminds me of? The old show that they used to air on Fox Family, now known as ABC Family, Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, yes.
Where all the Kongs just go up to Cranky's little hut, and that's the central point.
Yes, I remember now. Yes.
I never watched that one. They do have, in this show, they do have their other huts. If you've looked online, you can see there's concept art of, like, Amy's house, exterior and interior. She's got like a mansion compared to everybody else. She's got a very large, fancy house. I haven't seen Knuckles' area. Styx Burrow looks like something out of Lord of the Rings, like one of the Hobbit holes.
Well, here's the thing, because, like, when I played the Shattered Crystal, there's Knuckles' hangout, which is a gym.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know if that's his permanent home in the show, but in the game he has some junkyard area he lives in. And Sonic's home is real humble. He's just got a very small hut with only a few things and a hammock right in the middle, but no like couches or anything. I guess he doesn't like having company. That's interesting. The third episode was my second favorite, I think, out of the ones. Translate this.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was the one that was partially shown as a read-through at Sonic Boom, the event. So, and it's first time we see a little bit of like a Son Amy moments in this one as well.
Yeah.
Because the robot almost confessed her feelings about Sonic, and then when Eggman replaced the translator bot with his own with a like mic, it started insulting everybody. Then I noticed that when Sidney Robinson's Amy gets mad, her Minnie Mouse voice starts to come out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that.
I can't believe you say those things about me. And then towards the end, Sonic Saber goes, "Oh, are you okay?" And then the translator bot goes, "I care about your well-being." She's like, "Ah." So that was cute. But yeah, that was a pretty hilarious episode too, especially after Eggman's stolen the translator bot, and it's translating everything he says as, "Dude, let's keep praising Eggman. Eggman is a genius." Just showing how egotistical he is in his own mind. And then the cake, too. He goes, "This is a lovely cake. I hope nobody sits on it."
You're still going to make that cake, right, Lidice?
I'm thinking about making that
pet
cake.
Project of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And actually, Tails' solution to getting out of it was incredibly smart on that.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that. That was incredibly smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like tells the translator bot, he gets a little message. I'm okay. I feel perfectly safe. Everything's cool. He gets back and he tells them, okay, guys, I need you to rescue me now, basically. Well, that's because the translator bot's just translating what he really feels.
Honestly, I like the part where Eggman's just like, okay, guys, he starts talking to his robots. Go fetch the evil psychic contract.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then when they show up, he goes, "Hey, Anak, Tails is with me now." And then Orbot shows up with the contract. Here it is, ready to sign. Oh, there you go. And it's way too late. Yeah. By the way, that's another thing. It's the way Eggman treats Orbot and Cubot. The way like Peter Griffin treats Meg on the Family Guy. He just has no respect for his creations whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like in the second episode, he's all, "Oh, don't worry about them. They're not people. They have no souls."
Quiet. Don't laugh with me. It ruins the moment. Oh.
Yeah. Poor guys. They get no respect whatsoever.
Mm.
The fourth one was definitely for kids, really. I mean, the opening was it was actually pretty funny with the reverse fireman bot.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love that part.
Eggman's just chilling back with a magazine going,
I know.
"What? This isn't my creation. You think I'm the only guy who creates evil robots around here?" And meanwhile, it's putting a baby into a burning building and it's putting a cat into a tree.
Yeah.
And he's finally, "Go, fireman bot!" It's okay, it's my creation. It's what I do.
It's just funny, Styx's way of bringing down animals.
Oh, yeah, because, by the way, yeah, the whole small animal thing is still, I can't quite wrap my head around. It's very Disney-esque, in which you've got, like, on the same scene with the animals running away, we got a adult monkey, and anthropomorphic monkey running away from that. And then when they eventually go to the pet store to help learn Styx how to treat animals better, there's a baby monkey in the pet store. And it's like, what is the pet store, an orphanage, basically? So how can you have pet animals on the same species of animals that are basically people? It's just weird.
I just don't think about it, that's all. It's just cartoon. It's cartoon logic.
Like, it's a cartoon. Try not to think too hard about it. Yeah, but this episode, I mean, just a robot dog that pukes up green slime constantly.
Ew.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't like that.
Yeah, and and you know what's weird is that the green slime didn't animate well with the other cast. It felt like it was outside of the animation. It's hard for me to say exactly.
Honestly, the whole green slime thing, I could see that working really well as a Nickelodeon gag, but this was out of that range.
Yeah, I suppose it seems a little far-fetched for Eggman to be able to turn him into this giant tentacle monster dog just with a tiny bone.
I watched too many anime to see where this one was going.
That's why he's bringing it up. I wasn't even thinking of that.
No,
I see other people online. I'm like, oh my god.
No, it's just the joke that he used, just before the tentacles.
Right.
Oh, you mean you mean he used that as a back scratcher before building that robot dog?
Exactly.
Yes.
I was like, ooh.
I know. I had to listen to it twice to hear what I was actually hearing. I'm like, okay, ew, what the heck?
So, now did you guys watch it? Like, get up at 7 a.m. to watch these episodes?
Hell no. Hell no.
Or did you have it like recorded or anything?
Like I said, I don't even have cable. Chris gave me the link to watch it online.
Yeah, I had to do the same, because I have Dish Network, so Cartoon Network's not even available in my area. Luckily, thank God for people not to have any what's what I'm gonna say, disregard for copyrights on YouTube. It's the only way to be able to watch a show.
Hey, if they put it on Netflix, I would actually watch it.
Or they could even follow the example of Sailor Moon Crystal. Just let it run and then put it up a few hours later.
Oh yeah.
And make it available online for purchase. That would I'd buy a season pass of this if they made it available for purchase.
I'm gonna be straight honest. I am not waking up at 7 in the morning for that.
No.
We're too old for that. We're too old for that.
If I was about 6 or 7 or even up to 10 years old, I'm up for it. But unfortunately, that's past my prime.
Same here.
Yeah, last week I just got into. I'm gonna get into the habit now, like waking up at like 10, turning on the Xbox One, going into the YouTube app, and there it is. And it's still in HD. I mean, I feel a little wrong about watching like a YouTube HD stream instead of watching it on the TV show itself, but you know, if I don't have it available to record, there's nothing I can do about that. Now,
thanks, Sega.
yeah, really. Has everyone here read the comic book of Sonic Boom #1?
I did.
I haven't.
Okay, yeah, that's written by Ian Flynn. It has the old, like, really old school Sonic feel to it, like when Mike Gallagher used to do the comic, where, you know, it's strictly tongue-in-cheek, fourth wall humor, like they're doing the Sonic the Hedgehog and the other Knuckles Echidna slogans during the whole thing to introduce themselves. I like that a little bit. My biggest problem with the issue, I mean, the humor was still pretty good. Like, I liked how Tails was all fascinating with Dr. Eggman's latest machine that he was attacking them with. But my biggest problem was the relationship between, like, Amy and Knuckles in this. And that Amy's basically
He was
field.
more bossy.
Yeah, she's basically being like a Sally Acorn field leader. But then again, she was being also really, like, insulting and disrespectful to Knuckles, because Knuckles is, he's actually written dumber in this comic than he is in the game or the cartoon so far.
Yeah, I didn't like that much how that was going.
Yeah, so it felt like it made Knuckles look incredibly dumb and made Amy look like a mean bitch or something.
I think Knuckles is turning into the next Chris Griffin.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite there in the at least the cartoon or in the games. He had some good lines in the game.
Yeah.
But here he just comes off as a complete dumb Neanderthal. Then Amy ends up pissing him off, so he ends up going to Dr. Robotnik at the end of the issue, or Dr. Eggman at the end of the issue.
Yep.
I haven't said Robotnik in years. I'm surprised it just came out. But yeah, the art by Evan Stanley is fantastic and fits the tone of the show well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good with that.
Can't go wrong with Evan Stanley.
No. And, of course, we haven't gotten issue 2 yet. I'm still waiting on that. I don't think there's even been anybody's got it early in the mail yet.
Not yet. I haven't even checked it yet.
Yeah, I think the first one came out on the 29th. It feels like a long time ago now for some reason.
Yeah, because this month it was, let's see, usually it's on Wednesday, so it was November 5th on street date. So for us that we have the subscription to RG Comic, we get it a week before. So it was around the 29th that was in our mailbox by then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to subscribe to the other Sonic comics. I get the regular Sonic comic, and usually it comes like a day before a street date at the comic shops. But last week I got it. Last month, or this month I should say, I got it a week ahead of time. And that's the earliest I've ever gotten it. So yeah. Plus my brother's comic book store is like way out in Orange County now, so I'm gonna have to just start subscribing or just buy it digitally like I've been doing with Universe lately.
I think you're better off with the subscription. You're saving yourself a ton of gas money.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm not driving there because it's too far. And paying for the exact same price for digital as in store it just doesn't feel right when you don't have it in your hands like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be better off with the subscription. Although the last time when I got this last Archie Sonic subscription, I had a lot of troubles. Because one, they were giving me an Archie double digest instead, and then when they got that correct, they only gave me 2 issues of Sonic Boom before they said my subscription was canceled, and so I had to get them on the phone with that to get everything situated. And I guess there's another Jason Berry out in the Palm Springs area who's getting the Archie double digests.
Oh my gosh! Like for me, the first time I started subscribing to RG publication, I did the first 2 years I did have problem with them because mine never made it through my mailbox, so I had to contact them via email. And recently they haven't made any mistake through my stuff.
Yeah, I've been calling them by phone, because email, I get no reply whatsoever.
I usually get replies.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I've been doing it by phone now. The first time I subscribed to Sonic Comic was, I think, Sonic X, which constantly came late. And then I got, last year I did Sonic Universe for a year, and that actually worked really well. It came right on time. Then this year I've been having, like, the first 4 months I had a bunch of problems, but now it's been coming on time regularly. So it's just probably because, we're out here in the West Coast that end up with more problems.
Yeah.
Because they ship from New York.
Right.
That could take a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and before I get into the video games, one big thing is that, well, a lot of the staff that were in Big Red Button, they're no longer with Big Red Button, apparently, and they've been leaking a lot of their concept art online. Has everybody seen these?
Yeah.
Only a couple of them, not all.
Well, yeah, there's one Tumblr that has all of them in there, but I imagine you've seen some of the early stuff. This is why Sonic Team rejected a lot of this stuff. I mean, we saw Sonic with pants and, for some reason, flesh tones on his underarms that connect to his stomach.
That was just plain weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing these more jungle-type pants with really loose shoes.
Honestly, to me...
it doesn't really fit him. No.
To me, that honestly looks like something that Pixar would make.
Yeah, and then there's the really early ones that doesn't even look like Sonic anymore. It looked like some porcupine. But probably the biggest differences were Lyric was originally going to be an owl, which I think I'd be kind of cool with that. I think that would work out all right. And then Dr. Eggman was going to be some teenager or kid instead of his adult self.
Oh,
Maybe some teenage nerdy. It looked radically different.
Honestly,
that would have made so much confusion to us fans who have known Dr. Eggman for a long time.
Honestly, the only good piece of the early Sonic art is the one that with Sonic with the cloak on. Kind of look like an assassin.
You know what? I think that was I don't know if that was supposed to be Sonic or an ancient, because I think that's how the ancients dress in the Rise of Lyric. But see, that's one thing with the Rise of Lyric is a lot of stuff was on the cutting room floor, including more details on the ancients, because we see those hedgehog and echidna statues. So we know that's their species, but they're wearing those cloaks.
That was actually one of the best pieces of art right there.
Yeah. Although, if that's Sonic, he looks a lot more like Sly Cooper than Sonic in that.
To me, he looks like an assassin from Assassin's Creed.
Kind of. It says he's got hair all the way down his leggings or something. I'm looking at the piece of art right now. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be ancient, but I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, then there's some like really weird ones that I'm pretty sure are just like real out there concepts. There's the one where he's not only wearing pants, but he's wearing he doesn't look anything like Sonic. It looks like a Disney character.
With
and he's
shorts.
wearing a shirt. Yeah, he's wearing shorts and a t-shirt and running around.
Sonic running up to Target. Sonic, he's gotta buy the sale.
He's got some hoop around him in that. It's odd. I mean, I can see why Sonic rejected a lot of this. It's just like going way too far out there from what the series is known for. The only thing I kind of liked was the chows.
The chow?
Yeah, the chow looked really weird, but they looked kind of cool too. They were like alien. They didn't like these dewdrop ones. I know it's not. It's not in the original post, but I'll have to see if I can find it for you.
Those chows
I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Those chows look like a hybrid between the chows and the wisps.
Yeah, they kind of do. Kind of interesting piece, but I mean, it just shows how far back this concept art's been going for quite a while. I mean, because what we got is it still was hard to get used to, like big buffles, as they call them. But we could, Knuckles, buff Knuckles as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
But we could have gotten something a lot worse.
Like how worse?
Well, like I'm talking about the concept art that we saw.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the only thing that was needed was a scarf for Sonic. That would be hipster Sonic.
Yeah, he's already got that. He's already got that scarf going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked like they were almost trying to go for their own version of Crash Bandicoot rather than Sonic, really. At least to me. All right, now who here has played Sonic Crystal on the 3DS?
The Shattered Crystal? I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I only played the demo.
Okay, so just to let you know, if you played the demo, you've played about, I'd say, 10% of the game or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing I talked about on my review that I'm kind of disappointed with it, is there is a serious lack of content in this game. In fact, I counted it all out. Like, the demo has one adventure level, one rival race, and one worm tunnel. Mm-hmm. And that was from one hub. There's 6 hubs in the game, but some hubs only have one adventure level per hub world.
Yeah, that's what I noticed about it, because, like, I was trying to at least collect some Sonic badges and coins. I realized that in each island, they didn't have much content as the one from the what's it called, that tropical island.
Yeah, the first jungle island. You see the seaside one?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
has a fair amount of hubs, but the rest of them are seriously lacking.
Yeah.
In fact, I counted it up. There's 3 rival races, 4 if you count the boss fight at the end. There's 6 worm tunnels, because there's a worm tunnel in each hub world. Those are pretty cool. They get tough. They get real tough further on.
Yeah, it does. I don't know how many times I actually had Sonic being electrocuted before.
Yeah. Well, I just stopped boosting because I was trying to go for all the rings.
Same
here.
You
get a token for each ring.
I had to do first the timing and then the rings for last.
But then there's the adventure levels, but there's only 8 of them total. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that you have to constantly go back to these levels and spend upwards of half an hour or more trying to find all the blueprints and jewel shards so you can collect more badges, you'd be able to get through this game probably in 90 minutes or less. But I still got through it in about 4 hours or so.
On just one stage or just in total?
I was saying in total.
Oh.
Because if you
I think I spent more time than 4 hours in there.
Well, I'm saying if you didn't have to go looking for badges constantly and just were able to speed through the level like a normal game, it would be a lot shorter. Mm. So it's their way of kind of padding it out, but at the same time, it feels like they're purposely padding that out so they don't have to put as much content in the game.
And that, my friends, is not the definition of replay value.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying before, if they made it so I can go for the blueprints and shards because I wanted to, and not because I have to in order to progress, then I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. Because what it does is the badges are exactly like the medals in Sonic Unleashed. You have to collect so many, or else you can't get further into the game. So you end up having to backtrack. I was constantly stopping my character and looking down at the bottom screen and moving the map around to find, where's the blueprint here? Where's the jewel shard here?
That happened to me a lot of times when I was going through the stages.
Yeah, so you'd either have to replay a stage like 2 or 3 times or spend upwards of 30 minutes on one level just to find everything.
I spent almost an hour on just one level trying to pick up the puzzles and the crystal shards.
That sucks because it kind of kills all the joy when you're having to constantly hunt down everything.
Yeah, plus the fact that there's no time limit.
Yeah, well...
No. There is a time limit if you want to get a Sonic badge.
Yeah, if you want to get not a badge, but a token.
Oh yeah, you're right, a token.
Yeah, tokens are a little different. They just unlock the little toys in QNC's toy shop.
Yeah.
By the way, have you gotten any further than anything that's not a rotating 3D model of a robot?
I have a couple of them is just the Sonic and the gangs. I still need to cover around 30 more figures in the QNC shop. But I already like I can't even get the last coin from Lyric's last stage. I'm like, but the rest I have to get it through Knuckles' hangout, in which I have to do it every day, in which is really annoying because I don't want to actually.
Makes it feel like a mobile game when you have to do that. Like, oh, you can get a token from Knuckles for once a day.
Yeah, because like I just don't want to like turn on my 3DS, open the game, do a bit of like smashing button on the Knuckles workout, get a token, just wait for another 24 hour and just go back again. It's like I don't have that time. And like if they have the option to at least use my what's it called, the Street Pass coin, the coins. From,
I still don't know what the Street Pass things do because I haven't Street Passed anybody with this game, of course.
That's the thing. I mean, I don't know anyone who actually played this game.
I just go to Best Buy.
Me. Huh?
I just go to Best Buy because there's a rally point where
Well, no, I mean, yeah, you could do a Street Passing at Best Buy or several locations, but that Street Passing, unless somebody else has the game, I don't think it does anything for you.
Yeah.
You have to Street Pass somebody who has the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part.
It is.
Yeah, especially if it's a non-popular game, then it's like you're not going to find anybody to unlock it. That's one thing Generations 3DS didn't have a problem with, I don't think. You could Street Pass anybody and it would unload
Actually,
stuff.
I do remember when Sonic Generation came out, I did got a lot of Street Pass.
Yeah.
Especially when I went to, that was like about a year later when I went to Comic-Con.
But I think with Generations, it counted for any kind of Street Pass, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, or this has to be specifically somebody else with the game.
No, actually, because on the, well, if you read the instruction, it says, like, even though you're not playing the game, you can still get Street Pass from other players, even if they're not playing that game. See, at least you have the notification on for Street Pass. You can still get it.
I haven't gotten anything in this game.
Did you turn on the Spot Pass or Street Pass notification on?
Oh yeah,
that's what you have to do.
Whoops.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right here. Street Pass is already activated.
Okay, so even though you don't have the game plugged in, or I mean, not plugged in, it's like I'm so used to saying that. Even though you don't have the game on, at least it will actually receive any kind of Street Pass, even if the players stop playing it after a long period of time.
Alright. I'm almost got all the badges right now. Then I found out what you unlock when you get all the badges, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
That was a waste of my time.
I could see they were trying to think, oh, this is so funny because they do those, videos, that Sonic X dancers and everything. They'll think this is so funny, and it's not. It's really not.
No. They're like dancing. They're doing the robot.
I honestly don't understand, and I've seen this already. But I don't understand how the programmers had the time and the patience to program and animate that as your reward. I'm like, why?
I thought it was supposed to be something cool, not something so ridiculously time wasted.
Yeah, I know. The only thing, the better reward for at least for collecting the blueprints is you can make the boost faster.
Yes, that was really helpful.
Which they should have actually provided earlier, because that makes it more of a Sonic game than how it normally is. But it's still, I mean, like I said, when you're playing it normally and you're not badge hunting, it's a pretty solid game. It plays like a kind of a mixture of like a Sonic Rush or Sonic 1 or Sonic Rush mix, because you're trying to, get a certain flow to the game while boosting and going as fast as you can.
Yeah,
at the same time.
It did feel more of like a Sonic Rush.
Yeah, the only problem is sticks. When you have to switch to sticks, it grinds the game to a complete halt. Because then you have to stop, throw her boomerang to hit a switch, and then you can go again.
Yeah, that's a bit tricky, because like whenever I have to open use the switch, I have to stop, then hold on the X button just for her to actually end the circle pad. And sometimes the circle pad doesn't go as smoothly as you want it to be, and you hit something and like you have to do this repeatedly. That's a bit annoying.
Yeah, she's definitely my least favorite character in this game. But I'd still put this above like Lost World on 3DS if you've ever played that. That's a pretty awful Sonic game.
Yeah.
I put it almost on par with the Generation 3DS, but not quite. I think if it had a lot more, if it had at least 4 or so many levels to it, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Now comes the question: if you were to put Lost World, Sonic 06, and this in your particular order, what would it be?
Well, I think I'd pick this over. What do you mean, Lost World like 3DS or Lost World Wii U?
That's actually debatable, but we're gonna keep it under disc format. So, Rise of Lyric.
Okay, well now we're going into Rise of Lyric, which is appropriate. I'm pretty much done with my Shattered Crystal talk. Man, that game. You know what's funny is you read about a lot of the possible, behind-the-scenes speculation on that, and it feels like a game that wasn't rushed, but just absolutely abandoned. Like, I'm hearing rumors that it might have gone gold as far back as July, just because they're let a bunch of staff go. And you can see it. I mean, this game is basically it's a lot like a old-school PS2 platformer, where it's there is a feeling of a big epic adventure to it. It's pretty long. It took me about 10 or 12 hours to finish, but it's so rough around the edges. I mean, the worst is the speed dashing, which is supposed to be the most Sonic-y part of the game. Just grinds your frame rate to a halt that goes to like 10 to 5 frames per second, especially if you going through those spiral dash pads. I mean, even if you play in it normally, you still gonna have a lot of problems with that. And then there's, of course, the tons of glitches that can be found in the game. Huh?
I actually encountered one.
Oh, I've encountered several, but nothing that was game-breaking for me. People have had different experiences. Like, Matt from Tails' channel, the floor stopped rendering. The ground stopped rendering, and he would just fall right through.
Mine was a bit differently, because like when I was at the Lyrics weapon factory, I think it was because I switched too fast, too quickly between Tails and Sonic, that Sonic was able to move freely on a 2D platform.
Mm-hmm.
And like his speed drastically dropped.
Yeah, because there's too much. Because there's too much detail in that.
It could be, but when I used Tails, Tails was acting pretty normal on a 2D platform, so I was able to navigate it without getting them killed or hurt or anything.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say is it's not Sonic 06 levels of bad where it's going to completely break your game or you can't beat the game at all. Because Sonic 06 not only had glitches, it had really, really bad physics and really, really horrible controls.
It was really bad.
What's physics in that game?
Yeah, I know. Everything just floats up in the air,
Yeah, it's physically impossible, even in the outside world. You go through a loop, you just go up there casually walking.
I mean, I didn't enjoy Rise of Lyrics when I was just going from level to level, basically, and, where you can, you traverse using the different characters in a different manner each time, and you're exploring the level, finding, the shinies and any crowns and any little robot parts for treasure.
I haven't encountered any shinies yet.
Well, there's the foot. All you have to do is you see the foot. The only time you have to use that thing on the gamepad is if you see some footprints on the ground. Then you can press the thing on the gamepad. It'll show you like the treasure marker, and then you do a jump and then a pound, and right where it's supposed to be at, and the little shiny will come up.
I was wondering about those footprints.
Or you can just go to the end of the foot where the footprints end and pound. You don't even have to use that thing.
No, I just noticed that. It didn't occur to me.
Yeah, the thing's kind of useless otherwise. It's something they shouldn't have really incorporated in the game. But
because, like I said, I'm not even halfway through that game.
How far are you?
I'm on the let's see.
If you're at the village, you're at least halfway.
No, I'm not even there. I'm like still at the excavation side. Like right when right after they made it through the river.
Oh, okay. You're about to hit the village soon.
Okay.
With the boat?
Yeah.
Turn to do a top-down shooter?
Oh, it's so hard to do it.
I like that one, actually. Everybody hates that one. I thought it was kind of cool.
Because, like, I'm not so used to...
It became Geometry Wars all of a sudden.
I'm not very used to using those two circle pads. So it's kind of difficult for me.
I will say, there's another version of that boat shooter level that you'll come across later when you're helping Salty's brother Pepper. You have to go into a lake again, and this time the turrets are so spread out, it's horrible because you can't find the other turrets, so you're just constantly going around the lake with the camera above you, so you're completely lost. It's a really bad level. One thing I find odd is that the hub worlds are really, really huge, but I think it's probably because of the engine they couldn't do it, but they're not populated at all. They're like people around their little campsites standing there, wanting to do missions, but you don't encounter people just walking anywhere. And it's not as noticeable at the excavation site because there wouldn't be a whole lot of people there. But when you are in the village and you're like talking like there's a mayor mouse, the village is like 3 times larger than the excavation site, and there's only 5 people there. The entire town is abandoned. It's like a ghost town that you're walking through.
Population 5.
Yeah, there's the mayor. There's Fastidious Beaver over by the beach. There's Percy, and then there's a farmer. I think I already mentioned the mayor. And there's Styx, and that's it. And it's like, where is everybody in this game?
Styx took them out.
Now they all got let go in July, apparently.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, so you're into the other thing that drives me nuts is that both the village and the excavation site are so huge, but all I could do is jog slightly or use Sonic Spin Dash to roll. It's like, gee, if I only had a character who could run really fast, I'd get to where I need to go at a lot quicker pace. It's not like they don't have Sonic.
They should have done on Sonic. Just like the Shattered Crystal, just press the white button, and he will actually dash.
Oh yeah, well, on the Y button he does a spin dash, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the air, or are you talking about the air boost?
No, I'm talking about if they use the same buttons from...
Oh, you're talking about boost.
Shattered Crystal.
Yeah, you're talking about, boost.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things, I noticed that weren't quite done right. Like, for instance, only Sonic and Tails can do water running in the ocean and that. And Amy and Knuckles might drown and you hear them go... Which is actually it's the funniest drowning sound effect. I loved it because basically they had the voice actors rub their fingers across their lips to do the drowning.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. Before I actually... have Sonic and Tails run on water. I actually had made one of them drown. It was hilarious. I was so curious. I wonder what would happen. And they were drowning.
Yeah, they drown in a foot of water, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like in Sonic 06 there. And if you see other concept art, one of the things was showing Sonic water running, while the other 3 were actually using their inner beams to latch onto him and ride him. So that's how they got I guess they were going to originally get through that.
Water skiing.
And then they changed, like a water skiing. And it just shows how unfinished this game is in parts. Plus, the story is supposed to be a prequel, but it doesn't feel like it a lot of parts. I think it's supposed to be that Sonic and, the gang already know each other and they know Eggman and Metal, but it's supposed to be about Sonic going from being arrogant and that he's the most important person to learning about teamwork. Because that's how it kind of comes off right at the very end.
Yeah,
but see a lot of that in the game, except for one part where he's being real cocky in front of Knuckles.
Yeah, but that kind of same idea is that being part of teamwork. That one was shown at the Shattered Crystal one.
Yeah.
And Six says like she already like.
That was the
out.
I didn't really. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because that was the only one that she actually finds out like the whole meaning of teamwork, and Shadow's like, well, what's she saying?
Oh yeah, that's the only scene I actually laughed at in Shattered Crystals. I really didn't like the humor much in that game, but Stick's speech at the end where she completely gets it wrong is pretty hilarious.
I know.
She's all, there goes the people who stood by and did nothing while this other guy saved the day.
I know.
That's what they'll say. And now I understand teamwork.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and what was I going to get on? Okay, I'll still mention some of the more positives. Like, I like the big open world. They did a pretty good job of storytelling. Once you get past the first 2-hour mark of all the horrible guiding dialogue, where they're constantly going, there's a bounce pad. That's a bounce pad over there. Well, we should hit this button to switch everything. I mean, it got really, really bad, but...
I know, it gets a bit annoying. But
once you get past the first 2 or 3 hours, it turns more into natural banter, and it works out a lot better.
Yeah, but you know what I couldn't help is when Knuckles says, I feel like a pinball.
I know. And my least favorite, the one that made me laugh out loud is the first time Sonic and Tails get the water running power, and they see a ramp, and Sonic goes, look, ramps! And Tails goes, and we should use these as ramps! Yeah, well, they are ramps, so use them as ramps. It's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But what's weird is, a lot of times when they're hitting these bounce pad or ramps or whatever, they say the line after they hit the thing. Like, it goes off a little too late.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It's funny. What's funny is that one time I just went and hit a bounce pad and sprung over to the other side. And like 2 seconds later, I hear Amy go, bounce pad, after I've already, landed and it's still running.
Right.
But yeah, as far as the game itself goes, I like the different styles of traversal, because it really it helps give the game some variety. I liked using. I think my favorite one for traversal was Amy and Rose with their triple jump and going onto the high beams and stuff.
And Amy's triple jump was like very useful.
Yeah, even in Hub World, she can reach a lot of spots that the others have a hard time getting to.
Yeah.
And thought Sonic's was okay. They give him at least a little bit of excuse to use his boost spin dash to ramp up certain areas. Tails' fan thing was barely used, I noticed, for most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Knuckles' climbing was used a lot more in the second half. It's going to be used a lot more in the second half than it is in the first half.
Mm.
Although it seems weird that there's suddenly these glaring pink crystal objects for him to latch onto. By the way, did you when you went through the pass, did you find the turtle that you had to tell him not to, put this stuff in his plants?
I actually did.
Okay, good, because that's one thing where the future is actually affected. It's the only time it actually happens. So once you get to this other village with the turtles, you'll see him there, and he's, I have led such a good life, and my crops did really well and everything, but if you don't, he'll be like, I guess you didn't do anything for me, oh well, and the whole area will be look like a huge mess, which I found interesting. But what's also funny is, so even though I finished the mission and I have his present self is good present self, I guess, is over on this side, his old self is still over at the over by the excavation site too. He's in 2 different places at once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where you already did the mission for him. That's supposed to be they disappear. But I noticed if the character moves and has to disappear, their halo where you went to talk to him is still there. And it'll remain there. Like when you talk to Styx, she'll move from this one area over to the front of her burrow, but her halo where she will remain there for the rest of the game.
I'll have to look at that once I...
Yeah, it gets better as further you progress in the game. I will say I really like the later stages. And it gives it's Jack and Daxter feeling to it. that I enjoyed. It's just that it's so glitchy and so like incomplete feeling. But I mean, there are worse Sonic games you could play. To be honest, I am not a fan of Shadow. I think that game was pretty horrible. And Sonic 06 is way worse than this one. I actually put this one even above the storybook series as far as the game goes. Even though it's a bit of a incomplete mess, I think it's still got its good qualities. One thing I'll say is, speaking of Shadow, how useless is he in this game? He doesn't fit in to the storyline whatsoever. And he just comes off as a huge jerk.
Well, I think that's the whole point, because, like, when I first started noticing Shadow's attitude in the Shattered Crystal, it's like he actually reminds me of that one kid from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. It says to those three dorks. It's like, for me, it's like he's saying to them, like, losers, even especially to Sonic, because like Sonic's supposed to be inferior in front of Shadow.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a little ridiculous. You'll never stop this with your friends. You're weak because you rely on your friends, blah, blah, blah. And then you go and fight them. And what's cool is I kind of actually beat him with Tails. That was kind of satisfactory. He's actually one of the best fighters in the game, because he has not only but 3 different long-range attacks. His little buddy bots, you can send 2 at him out at a time, and they do huge combo damage if you do that and long range at the same time. Plus, his charge attack, when it's done charging up, it lets out this huge firework that does a heavy amount of damage at once. So I use the badge that shortens charging time, doing charging attacks on him, and he works out as my best fighter.
Really, I haven't played much with Tails in the game.
There's something I forgot to ask Christian. This is recording, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Thank God, I forgot to ask about that at the beginning of the show.
I have mine recorded just in case.
Because I rely on you too much that I should have asked first. I apologize for that.
Yeah, Lidice decided on her own she'd be my backup, which is pretty good. I got no problem with that.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just shocking what's happened to this game before it came out. There was so much amount of content removed. It still manages to tell a solid story overall, and a lot of the banter's still fun. But it seems like there's quite a bit cut out of it. I mean, like I said, its frame rate's bad. It's obvious that when they started this, I have a feeling it was meant to be on next-gen consoles and not the Wii U, because they went with this CryEngine, which doesn't really fit the Wii U well at all, and it's not really made as well for platformers as it is first-person shooters.
Yeah, I actually joked about this to myself when it says CryEngine. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cry, alright.
My joke is, achieved is a kind of a strong word to say with achieved with CryEngine.
Well, at least it's not...
Because they really didn't achieve it too well.
Well, at least it's better than Far Cry, because that cry was too far.
I played Crysis 3 on the Xbox 360, which is CryEngine 3, I believe. And that game is absolutely gorgeous. And so it's obvious it's something where they were pushing it way too hard. It's an engine that's just, maxing Wii U a lot further than it could possibly go.
But you know, about when cutscenes, Amy's face looks kind of weird.
It depends. I think she has a much more animated face than the rest of the cast.
I don't know, because the only thing I noticed was her mouth.
Well, her mouth that's because her mouth is in the center of her muzzle now instead of over on the side. I think that goes for everybody now.
Yeah, but still, the thing is, like, I don't think I'm not sure if it's because because of the CryEngine or something like that, but I don't think it's been done that very well.
No, it's just the model they chose to go with.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to make her make her mouth in the center. Works okay with some of the other characters like Knuckles, but not as much with her.
And make people cry.
I did like the banter between Knuckles and Sonic during their level together. Because Knuckles didn't come off as really stupid. He's still kind of dumb, but he's like cocky and confident too.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit of relief because, like, in the comic book, he's displayed as really dumb, but like in the games, it's like okay, that's a relief because like it's not that annoying. That it's like, oh, why did they make him so dumb?
Yeah, like without giving too much spoilers, there's that area where their Sonic and Knuckles are blocked off by boulders, and Sonic's like kicking and punching at it, and he goes, "No, we're not going to be able to make this way. We got to be able to make it this way. Let's go around." And then Knuckles just comes over and bashes the wall in, and all the boulders crumbles down, and Sonic just looks at him and goes, I made him loose for you. Yeah, they have kind of like a better moment between those two. You don't see them really bond too much in the comics at all. And the ending was alright. It was nothing spectacular, but I think this is the only game where Eggman sort of comes off as the winner instead of the loser.
Oh, really?
Without really spoiling anything.
Yeah, I'll wait for it. Like, hopefully I'll get to finish it before, probably like 3 months later, because like this week is the Super Smash Bros. Wii U is coming out this week, so I don't think I'll be able to finish it.
Yeah, I did like the boss fights as well. I thought the Shadow one, even though it was a short one where you're constantly having to move from side to side, pardon me. At least it was satisfactory to kick his butt. And there's a few other boss fights. The other one I had liked, it was actually a one with that you were speeding on with Metal. And they have to fight Metal Sonic while speeding around this one loop track. And that was a tough fight. It reminded me a lot of the Silver fight in Sonic Generations. But the only problem is he has a long life bar in that boss fight, so it takes you like 20 minutes to beat him.
Oh, I'm sure I'll have fun playing.
Yeah, I think it's actually my favorite boss fight of the ones.
Really?
Without giving too much info.
Other than fights for Smash Brothers, I think we would need the help of Shadow for Chaos Control.
All right.
That's gonna be a lot of fighting.
Oh yeah, if that trophy comes out.
Yeah, the other good thing is I was worried that the fighting would get really old between having to fight the different robots and that. But they're constantly introducing new robot enemies all the time in the game. Plus, all 4 of your members fight very different, very different styles of fighting to them. And so you kind of pick out what you like about each character and use that instead. Like a Sonic, you can have him jump in the air and then do like this triple homing kick onto your enemies, which he ends with a huge ground pound with the floor cracks. And that works really well for me, along with Tails. But the only one Amy has her hammer spin she uses the X button. That comes off pretty well. The only one who's not that great of a fighter, believe it or not, is Knuckles. Not that he's not strong or anything. He just has very average punches to him.
Yeah, I noticed that because as I noticed, like I have to, because usually my own kind of style is like just rapidly press the button, but for this I had to actually like lower my speed like every 3 seconds or so.
Yeah. Plus, there is one other effective move he does where he can burrow into the ground and then pop up, but you can only do that like later in the game when you get to the farm and such.
Yeah.
So I think I'm spoiling a little too much for you.
No, because I actually did have Knuckles just buried to the ground and just pops out.
Well, he does something like that. He kind of does a head spin usually when you just press the X button and you're not at specific ground areas.
Oh yeah, I did that one time.
Yeah, I'm trying to 100% the game now, and I'm using it through difficulty now. But the problem is the shinies. It's hard to notice that those shoe prints on the ground until it's too late.
I noticed those shoe prints in Lyric's layer, and it's just like I just ignore it because like, I have no clue what it is.
Yeah, I didn't. I'll have to
go back. I'll have to go back and play it through it again.
Yeah, well, once you open the location on the map, you can return to that level anytime.
Yeah.
So that's handy. But yeah, I didn't even really think about them until Styx started talking to me. Because you trade the shinies to Styx in return for crowns. which you use to buy your upgrades. Also, have you connected your 3DS to your Wii U?
Yes, I actually did. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's the best 3DS connection unlock I've seen in a Sonic game yet, because most of them are kind of useless.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, that's extending your life bar and adding more rings.
Right. I mean, that's really useful because, like, without the 3DS, they only give you 100 rings. I mean, well, they don't give you. It's just that you can only carry 100 rings.
Right.
But if you go through the entire game of the Shattered Crystal, like completed certain tasks, your ring capacity increases.
Yeah, like I beat Shattered Crystal, and now I can get 200 rings, and the rings actually, I guess, if you're not collecting rings, they'll actually start collecting on their own over time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, yeah, the one other thing I like is it's something that should have been addressed in the game as far as once you get past the maximum amount of rings. Normally, you'd feel kind of pointless to keep collecting rings because you're already at your max.
Right.
But your maximum, the more rings you collect, the more the concept art you're unlocking in the game. Like if you look at the title screen where QNC's area is, and you see all the concept art.
Yes, I actually did unlock a couple of them.
Yeah, and if you notice there, it shows blue rings with the number on it.
Yeah.
And the number is the maximum amount of rings you've collected in the entire game.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And if they would have put that like in the upper right corner or something every time you collect rings, then people realize that, there's another purpose for collecting rings outside of just your health.
Well, for me, it's just an old habit of mine. Like I
think it's everybody's old habit.
I just don't care if my rings just reach full capacity. I'll just do it.
Alright, so it's obvious though that this game's not going to do too well. I mean, Lost World was a big hit in previews. Everybody loved it in previews, but once it came out, it didn't do as well, and that ended up bombing for the Wii U. And I have a strong feeling Rise of Lyrics is going to be their biggest Sonic bomb in a long time.
I never did finish the Wii U version of Sonic Lost World. I did on the 3DS. It was pretty fun, but
I didn't really care for the 3DS one myself.
For me, I'm more of a handheld girl.
Because I found the bosses really easy in Lost World. That was the one big turnoff, is they were too easy to beat.
It was. Yeah. Except with the that old guy, what's his name? It wasn't easy for me because like I keep missing the gap once I destroy one of the fruits.
Well, you might want to go back to. I mean, once you defeat the final boss, there's like some prototype levels that they kind of had left behind. There's like a whole other section of just these random levels that don't really fit into the game. They feel like prototypes, and they're pretty cool. And one of them, you actually get to fly a Tails biplane through a bunch of different obstacles. And I don't know, a lot of people didn't enjoy Lost World. I thought it was pretty good, at least on the 3DS. I mean, at least on the Wii U. 3DS gave me a lot of trouble after the first world. Mm-hmm. I didn't like constantly having to unlock a gate just to unlock another gate, just to unlock another gate.
No, for me, the Wii U, I never did learn how to do a proper parkour.
Well, I think you can beat the game without really parkouring too much. But yeah, it is more difficult to learn for some reason on Wii U than it is 3DS.
Yeah, this is why I prefer much on the 3DS, because like on the parkour, it does it for you automatically, so I'm more used to it.
Yeah, it is easier on there. Yes, so hopefully Sonic Boom, the cartoon at least, survives the mess that happened with the Wii U version, which I'm sure it will. The ratings are really strong for the first 2 weeks. It's number one in its time slot over pretty much everything else on cable for kids. And it's like up to 135% boost from its time slot, whatever was there last year. It's still 7 a.m. is way too early.
Yeah.
I don't even know kids that get up that early anymore.
Well, I honestly think they wouldn't ever since they killed the Saturday morning lineup for the regular TV broadcasts.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I think it's only an hour earlier than Sonic X was when it was being broadcast. And that was on reruns for 10 years, chances are we'll probably see a season 2 and maybe a season 3 of this show.
Yeah, because like usually when I was a kid, I used to get up way past 8 a.m. and I still do.
It's okay. We're grown adults.
No. Even if I was like about 7 or 10-year-old, I would sleep through it and like past 8 a.m. Like, wait, what time is it? Oh no, I just missed my favorite show.
Well, back in the 90s, I used to get up on Saturday mornings. Well, not get up, I would be in bed, but I had a TV, I had a remote control by my bed with the TV nearby, and I'd just turn it on, watch Sonic Sat-Am, and then turn it off and go back to bed. So, I've been a fan of Sonic for quite a long while now. Okay, now, what is... I know it's only 4 episodes in, but I think should qualify. What would you rate this on your favorite, like, Sonic shows for cartoons?
Sat-Am is still number 1.
I agree, Sat-Am still number 1.
This has a good chance of topping Sat-Am for me. I'm really enjoying the show a lot. But for now, maybe Sat-Am, and then Sonic Boom, then
Adventures.
Maybe Adventures, and then Sonic X, and then Underground. Underground, I never even only watched a few episodes. I just don't like that show at all.
I never did quite finish the entire season of Underground.
I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and then just kind of abandoned it.
I only watched like I think like 20 episodes, and like I completely abandoned it as well because I was watching it through Netflix until they took it out, and like tried watching on YouTube, and like I lost interest because like it's on YouTube. I'm like, what's the whole point for me? Because it's hard for me to keep track on YouTube if I had everything on Netflix. Like,
yeah, at least Netflix has every single Sonic show except for Sonic X right now. Although if you have I have Hulu Plus, and that actually has Sonic X in Japanese with English subtitles, which is pretty nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And with that, you get like 5 minutes worth of scenes that have been cut out.
Well, that's 4 kids for you. They will do anything to Americanize it.
I know.
Yeah, like in the 3rd season, you miss out this whole the whole reason Vector's going out in outer space is just because he's got a crush on like Cream's mom.
Vanilla?
During the whole thing, yeah. And there's a scene with her and him at the last episode. A few other things too. There's can't remember now. There's quite a few scenes that were left out from the 2nd season. Like there's one where the Chaotix have just arrived on the Earth, and they're trying to find out stuff about Sonic, and they end up stealing a DVD, I think a VCR and some VHS copies of Sonic X just to break the 4th wall a bit. That was taken out.
Trying to do the old Spaceballs thing, huh?
Yeah. There's a lot of 4th wall jokes that were in the Japanese version that are taken out of the American version.
Yeah, because I've only seen... I haven't even... well, actually, yeah. I never did finish watching the whole Metarex series. I kind of lost interest there. It's like it was getting way too dark to my liking. Like, it doesn't look like Sonic anymore.
It felt like a fan fiction, like somebody who's a fan of Star Trek was doing a fan fiction who's also a big fan of like Tales and wanted to.
Yes, exactly.
Because God, that 3rd season just centered around Tails really strongly compared to Sonic and the rest. And then the whole thing takes place in outer space the entire time.
Yeah.
It had its good moments, but not that many. It was 3rd season was pretty bad.
I'll just pretend that never existed. Just the first 2 seasons was okay.
Yeah, in fact, the Japanese versions of it are actually a bit darker than even the 4Kids adaptation. One thing that drove me nuts about 4Kids is they would censor stuff that they didn't really need to censor at all.
Yeah, like the bar tab.
Bar tab, or they'd have signs where they originally had English stuff on the signs, and then they ended up blank for no good reason, and they just wouldn't write anything on it. Like I think there's one where Sonic was going to go underwater, and he was holding up a sign that said something, and I was completely turned blank, and then Chris is holding a sign that's blank as well.
Yeah, because in the Japanese it says, "Do not try this at home," and Sonic was holding that sign, saying, "And what were you exactly doing?"
Yeah, Yeah, that's just that's the way 4Kids works, though. They censor horribly. The only show of theirs that I didn't mind the censoring so much because it was definitely more aimed towards kids was Kirby. I like the dubbing in Kirby.
Me too.
Right back at ya.
Yeah. That was a cute show. I liked how King DDD had this like foghorn leghorn sound to his voice, and then since it was obvious in the Japanese version that the what's his name Escargot was supposed to be like this, he kind of came off as, I think he was supposed to come off as kind of gay, so they gave him like not Charles Nelson Riley but Paul Lynde. They gave him like Paul Lynde's voice to him.
I don't think. Kinda. I mean, because Snail Escargot, you would expect him to actually have at least a French accent, just for a comic relief.
It says, "I better have a money back guarantee." Yeah, he's very Paul Lynde in his voice. But yeah, actually, Mike Pollock had quite a few voices on that show too.
Right.
The mayor. That's one thing. The mayor in that show threw me off because it's exactly the same voice as Eggman. He doesn't change it at all. Okay, I think we're starting to go into rambling territory here, so I guess we better start wrapping it up.
That's for me because I was trying to remember because it's been such a long time I've last seen Kirby right back at you. It's like, how do they exactly sound like?
One thing that threw me off was they made him sound like a Dracula. They gave him this Transylvanian voice.
Well, it kind of works due to his appearance.
Yeah.
Much
more since they you hear the strumming guitar behind the background music.
Yeah, and we can say Kirby has the same thing like Pikachu, or it's still the same Japanese voice actress because he doesn't actually talk.
Right.
So you can just get away with that.
It works both ways. They're saving money.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have to pay anybody any extra for that. Anyway, I think that just about wraps it up for us.
Right.
Is there anything else anybody wanted to say?
Bring me my evil ham.
Be sure to check out my review of Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal. I just posted it up on TSS. Although I don't know when exactly this episode will go out. I think either Thursday or Friday, which might still be before this comes out. I have another podcast that talks all about Sonic Boom and the video games, and that's going to be Sonic Talk, and you'll be able to pick that up on segabits.com. Anything you wanted to say, Lydia or Lidice?
Not at this point.
Okay, and I think that's going to do it for us tonight. See you next month.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye-bye.